Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning, back on the topic of the NFL today. Today, Jay and I bringing you a 2-minute warning mock draft where we go picks 1 through 16, kind of trading off. So he'll go first, and then based off what he picks, I'll make the next pick. That's how this video is going to work. But before we get into that, question of the day, and that is coming in another form of a fight, but this time with the draft, we got Trey Lance versus Justin Fields in a fight. Who are you taking? Comment below, and at the end of the video, Jay and I will discuss our answers, who we pick in that fight. But Jay, obviously, we've got some trading around, the Dolphins and Niners, the Eagles, whatever, traded picks, and there's a lot of talent in this NFL draft. But I think the first overall pick is one that's kind of set in stone. So again, tell me who the Jags are going to take first overall.
Yeah, Jaguars are definitely going with Trevor Lawrence. Pretty easy pick. It'll save us some time about this discussion, but Urban Meyer did not even show up to Zach Wilson's pro day, so I think it's pretty clear-cut. Generational talent in Trevor Lawrence. He's going to the Jaguars. Easy pick here.
Yeah, I think this team is set up for Trevor Lawrence. They got a young coach, and I think that would work well with a young rookie quarterback, and that's just really the only hope for this franchise is getting Trevor Lawrence. I think that can take him to the next level, so I do agree with that pick 100%. Next overall, second overall, the New York Jets. I think they stick with Sam Darnold. Obviously, right now, Zach Wilson, who just had one of the most impressive pro days I've seen in a while. So that could easily be the pick. But I think they're going to stick with Sam Darnold and take Penei Sewell second overall. Give him some protection because that's really where they need to start. They had one of the worst O-lines in the league. Start with O-line and pick some weapons for him up later in the draft. But I do think the Jets go with Penei Sewell.
Yeah, while I like that idea, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets even trade out. But for this video, we're not going to do any more trades than already what happened. So Penei Sewell, pretty good lock. If you are sticking with Sam Darnold, he needs protection 100%. You already got him some weapons in Corey Davis, but he needs more than just that. At number 3 overall, 49ers, blockbuster trade. They did not trade up for an lineman or a receiver. They traded up for a future quarterback. And based on this draft, since Zach Wilson fell in their lap, they are going to jump on that opportunity and not miss out on Zach Wilson. They're going to go with him at number 3 overall.
Yeah, I don't see why they would do this without planning on picking the best quarterback that would be available at the time in Zach Wilson. I think he would fit well in that. Obviously, he's got the talent, and I think the Niners have one of the best defenses in the league. Good offensive weapon, so I think throwing him into that offense could really help. So I do like that pick of Zach Wilson to the Niners. 4th overall, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not going quarterback here. I like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has shown he can put up points. They put up 40 points multiple times last year, and I do think with the healthy Julio Jones, that connection can be there. So I don't want to go quarterback. I want to go on the defensive side of the football. They don't have really any defensive playmakers, and I want to give them one of those. I think they're going to take Michael Parsons of Penn State at 4th overall.
Yeah, I really think this is a sweet spot for Michael Parsons to either become the captain of this Falcons defense, or I wouldn't be surprised if he falls out of the side of the top 15. I think it'd be a great leader for this team, but I don't see him fitting in a lot of the spots. Of course, he's going to help any team, but I just think this is a sweet spot for him to end up as an early draft pick. So good pick there. At number 5 overall, I think the Cincinnati Bengals had their eyes on Penei Sewell, but if he has gone to the New York Jets, they're still going to look at the protection as their top priority, and that is definitely going to go to Rashawn Slater. We've seen him take on NFL guys. He took on Chase Young in college and held up against them perfectly fine, and he could play any position on that offense line, and that is what the Bengals need. Some guy that is durable and can move in and out and be a moving piece on this line. Rashawn Slater, I think, is a relatively easy pick for the Bengals.
Yeah, if I'm thinking Bengals, I'm thinking O-line all the way. And not that I've seen the tape firsthand, but we know Colin Cowherd has said that if there's arguments that Slater is better than Sewell based off tape. So I think that they're very equally skilled. So I guess if Penei Sewell is available for the Bengals, you take him. But picking Slater is really not any worse or better than picking Penei Sewell. So I do like that pick. At 6 overall, Miami Dolphins. Right now at this point, Fields still available, Trey Lance still available, Mac Jones still available, but I'm not going quarterback. I have faith in Tua, at least enough. They just picked up Will Fuller. I think he's going to be a big addition. I'm going to go with a guy that you really have never seen a guy like him before and go with Kyle Pitts, the Miami Dolphins. At 6'6" and whatever weight he is, he's a big guy. You can line him up a receiver. I know they have Gesicki at tight end, but you can put Pitts at tight end as well. And like I said, we've never seen a player like Kyle Pitts, and I think he can help any team he goes to. And I think the Miami Dolphins just can't pass him up at this point.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Dolphins bite the bullet and definitely go with Pitts there. Either way, as long as they're getting to a weapon, a safety blanket, someone he could throw to, they're doing a good job, and that's exactly why they traded back up, so they could get him one of the top weapons, if not the top receiving weapon in the NFL draft. So Kyle Pitts, definitely a good pick there. Number 7 overall, the Detroit Lions. They got Jared Goff in. They lost their top receiver in Kenny Galladay. They lost Marvin Jones Jr. All that's really left is T.J. Hawkinson. They need to give Jared Goff someone to throw the ball to, so I got them taking Marr Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. I think this is probably the top official receiver in the NFL draft. Kyle Pitts is technically a tight end, but to me, he's just an offensive
Juggernaut.
weapon. Yeah, juggernaut, perfect So Marr Chase is definitely the pick for me to help out Jared Goff, who I still think will be awful, but this is the right progress in helping them get there.
For me, the Detroit Lions, the right pick is a quarterback. Right now, I would take probably Trey Lance for him because I think that their right move is start over, keep Jared Goff around as a backup, which I think he would be pretty good as, but I just think their franchise isn't worth building around him. So I would go quarterback, but your pick makes sense because I certainly have no one for him to throw the ball to right now. At number 8, Carolina Panthers, similar route to what I just said about the Lions. I want to go quarterback, and I think the best one right now is going to be Trey Lance. I think that the pick would be Lance over Fields. I think Lance has a higher ceiling and I don't like Justin Fields as much. I think Trey Lance has shown that he throws the ball better, and I like Trey Lance over Justin Fields. I think the risk is certainly there. He could end up being a bust, but the potential for Lance is through the roof, and I just don't think the future of this franchise is Teddy Bridgewater as a starter. I like Teddy Bridgewater, keep him around as a backup, play him for the first half of the season with Lance sitting behind him, but I think Lance could be the future of this Panthers franchise.
Yeah, I definitely think quarterback's a move. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers went with a safer playing Justin Fields. To me, he's just a better Teddy Bridgewater. That's not an exact comparison, but he's just a bigger, stronger Teddy Bridgewater.
I think Lance and Fields are both very similar to the playing style of Teddy Bridgewater.
Mobile guys, mobile enough, they could take a hit, so either way, you can't go wrong. But since he went with Trey Lance at number 8, I'm going to go with Justin Fields at number 9 overall to the Denver Broncos, which may seem surprising because Drew Lock, we still don't know what he is, but everything on that team is pretty much set. The secondary is stacked to the nth degree with Kyle Fuller, Justin Simmons, Ronald Darby, Kareem Jackson. You got Bradley Chubb and Von Miller in the pass rush. So your defense is pretty much set, along with a defensive-minded head coach in Vic Fangio. And then in the receiving core, you're pretty much set with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant. And in the backfield, you got Melvin Gordon. The biggest question mark is your quarterback, Drew Lock. I think Justin Fields could either not only replace him, but be a better version of Drew Lock, and even if he turns out to not be the good guy, at least you know Drew Lock is your guy moving forward. Either way, figure out the quarterback position, whoever it is, Fields or Drew Lock. At least have the debate there and have the battle go.
Yeah, I think the Broncos need a quarterback, whether that comes in the form of a Deshaun Watson trade, which obviously we can't assume that's going to happen. I would like to see that, but I think Justin Fields is the right move. Get another quarterback in there, force Drew Lock to compete with somebody else, which will hopefully make them both better. So I like that pick. At number 10, the Dallas Cowboys. I think this will be the best offense in the NFC East. They just re-signed Dak. You got Amari Cooper. You got CeeDee Lamb. You've got Zeke, who I don't think can go any worse. I think he's bound to come up soon. So I think they're going to go defense, and I think they're going to take the best cornerback in the draft, go with Patrick Surtain.
Pretty good pick. I was going to do the opposite at number 11, the New York Giants. If he took Farley, I was going Surtain, but he went with Surtain, so I'm going to go with Caleb Farley. Giants secondary has already been addressed. They had Jabril Peppers, and they added Adoree Jackson, so it's not a necessity, but they're getting there, and with this addition of Caleb Farley, they might be able to make the argument of becoming the best secondary in the NFL. So I think this Giants team all around is great. I doubt they would be considering a quarterback. They want to give Daniel Jones another chance. The receiving core set with Kenny Galladay. Yeah, you could go Devonta Smith and make it the best receiving core in the NFL, but you can't have a good enough defense. So I'm going to go with Caleb Farley to the New York Giants at 11.
Yeah, I think this is a year that they pick up Galladay. I think this is a year we expect good production or better production out of Daniel Jones. I think defense is the right pick, and I think Caleb Farley is like that same situation as Sewell and Slater. I think Farley and Surtain are both very good. So it's really not a loss if you pick either one versus the other. At number 12, the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to get a weapon for Jalen Hurts, and right now the receivers available, Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle, I think are left on the table for me. I'm going to go Devonta Smith. He was supposed to be drafted early. He was earlier projected to go to the Dolphins at 3rd overall. That's a little too early for him, but he just came off winning the Heisman as a receiver. Now, there is the issue about his physical frame. Is he going to get broken in half in his first NFL hit? That's on the table, but his separation and his ability to get away from the cornerback is really next level. So I think I'm going to go Devonta Smith to the Eagles, give Jalen Hurts someone to throw the ball to.
Pretty good pick. I can't argue with that. I definitely would have gone a receiver either way. Waddle might have been more my favor, but either way, Smith, you can't go wrong. Like you said, Heisman winner. The gamble is worth it. Just because his frame is concerning, but it worked in college. It might work in the NFL.
Jalen Waddle concerns me just because he was battling that ankle injury his senior year or his last year in college.
Even when he came back, he got hurt in the championship.
Exactly. He came back. Oh, Jalen Waddle's back. He got one catch and limped off the field. His talent's there, but I can't draft a guy like that. Yeah. That's hurt.
Number 13 overall, the Chargers. This is kind of a big pick for them if they want to take a jump and be a playoff team this year. They could go take an electric player such as Jalen Waddle that could definitely up their receiving core, or they could go with J.C. Horn, who could really fill in the loss of Casey Hayward in the secondary to help out Chris Ayers Jr. and Derwin James and Michael Davis. But I'm going to go with the boring pick and Elijah Vera Tucker to help out this offensive line. Yeah, it's boring, but it is a necessity for Justin Herbert in this offensive line. You already got a good offensive line with Corey Linsley now being added. You'll have Brian Bulaga. You'll now have Elijah Vera Tucker. And if you have the best offensive line, Justin Herbert will definitely make it worth your while. And you can't go wrong here with protecting your star guy.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I don't know. You Chargers fans seem to like the idea of taking Vera Tucker. I think it's a good idea. Protection for Herbert is the priority. So I think that with good protection, Herbert can take that Chargers team pretty far. At number 14, the Minnesota Vikings. I want to go defense here. I like Kirk Cousins. I think he can do a good job with what the Vikings have on offense. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen being his main receivers. I like them, and I like Dalvin Cook a lot. So I'm going to go defensive side of the football. Mike Zimmer is a defensive guy. I think he's going to draft defensive player. So I'm looking at either Kwity Paye or actually Gregory Rousseau out of Miami, and I think those are both two of the best edge rushers in the draft. But I'm going to take the guy from the better team last year of Miami in the ACC. They're one of the better teams. I'm going Gregory Rousseau to the Minnesota Vikings.
Pretty good pick. I think I would have gone Kwity Paye, but either way, pass rush was going to be my priority. Looking at the Patriots at number 15 overall, in the past, the Patriots have, drafted pretty well at offensive line, and Christian Darrisaw is available, probably the third best tackle in this draft. But they draft poorly at receiver. However, Jalen Waddle is supposed to be this great guy, and he's a great receiver, so it's really a risk of what they want to go. But to me, you've addressed the weapons so much in free agency for the receiving core with Nelson Aguilar, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. Cam Newton needs as much protection he needs. I think they're going to play it safe and go with Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle, to just give him this split-second protection that Cam Newton definitely needs.
So I want to go at number 16 for the Cardinals. I wanted to go O-line, give Kyler Murray some protection. And now, with Jalen Waddle still on the table, I find it hard not to take him. Yeah. You can't not have enough weapons for Kyler right now, the main one being D-Hop. And I think drafting Jalen Waddle, hopefully he can be healthy, and I think that would really, really help this Cardinals offense out to kind of spread, not take the weight away from D-Hop, but just give some versatility to this offense so that Kyler doesn't find himself forcing the ball to D-Hop, the best receiver in the league. So I'm going to take Jalen Waddle at number 16 for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and if A.J. Green is anything of what he used to be,
right.
Anything, that receiving core between
very good.
A.J. Green, Hopkins, Jalen Waddle, and even Christian Kirk might be one of the best in the NFL. It all depends if they're healthy and if they could bring back some of their old prime in A.J. Green.
100%. So those are our picks, 1 through 16. Tell us what you think about that in the comments, and if you disagree with any of our picks, go ahead and comment what you think, because obviously there's a lot of opinion that goes into this draft, and there's really no way we can be sure until that draft happens in late April. So that's all for the video, and as far as the question of the day, Jay, Justin Fields, Trey Lance in a fight, who are you taking?
It's going to be a pretty good fight. They have similar frames. I think they're both 6'3", 6'4", 230, pretty much the same size physically, but the rumor of Justin Fields running a 4.4 and just having that type of endurance and speed, I think would pay off in a fight. I'm going to go with Fields.
I'm going to go Trey Lance. I like his upbringing more. Coming from North Dakota State, previously a D2, now a D1. I think it's just a smaller school. I think he's just kind of had more of a fight upbringing, and I'm kind of biased against OSU. I don't like Ohio State, so I'm going to go with Trey Lance in that fight. But that's all for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. 2-Minute Warning.